Hey, there we go. My microphone's on now. We're live. Hi, my name's Chan Sterling, and I like to talk about old games, especially collectible card games. And today, we're going to be talking about the Middle-Earth CCG Challenge Decks. Ooh, Now, this is a cool old game that has been getting some buzz lately because of Team Covenant has been doing some streams on it. People are just looking into some old collectibles. Now they're kind of in a season of people being in their house a lot. And this is just a fairly unique card game. And so I think this is a fun one to talk about. I've already done a stream where I played a solo version of the game and I talked about like kind of what the game is like. And so I thought this time I would go over this product that I got in the mail today. This box kind of got wrecked in shipping, but all the cards are fine. The box itself is a little beat up. I did some slight box surgery to bring it back to life. I like to keep the boxes for display, but yeah. So I thought I would go. If you don't know anything about the Middle-Earth CCG, so it is a Lord of the Rings, Middle-Earth Tolkien-based card game. And the really cool thing about this game in particular is, as a lot of people have been saying, it's like an open world card game. You can use different sight cards, or you can use a large map for moving your characters around. You can kind of do whatever you want as long as it's something that Lord of the Rings does. So if you want to destroy the ring, but you think that Glorfindel should have been the guy to carry it all the way, you can make a deck that tries that. If you just want to recreate scenes from the movie, like making Aragorn Lord of the have him return to the king, or go through the paths of the dead, you can try that. Or maybe you just want to say, hey, I know what'll win. I want Saruman to hang out and gather a bunch of armies for the powers of good this time and see how that goes. And that's kind of what you can do this game, kind of whatever you want to make happen. It's also pretty cool in the fact that as far as the Lord of the Rings type card games or in games we've had, it goes deep into the lore. You've got the other two wizards that we don't know about, so not just Gandalf and Saruman and Radagast, you've also got Alatar and Polando. It goes, has everything. In the very first set, it even like had every character. If it was in the original, if it was in The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, it was probably in the first set, or at least referenced. Like, nowadays, if someone was making a set, like if it was a Star Wars game, they wouldn't cram every character into a giant base set because it's Star Wars. No, they would, like, say the first set is A New Hope, and it's only having A New Hope versions of characters and only A New Hope card types. And then we'd have other sets later that kind of leak in some of the other stuff. Now, this game was just like, the whole Fellowship, and all the dragons, and all the ring wraiths, and Tom Bombadil, and orcs, and just everything. Everything's in the first set. So this game, being an old game, that's the way it is. My dog does not go crazy at all, except for when I'm streaming. I just need to get a camera that just attaches to him so you guys can see what shenanigans he gets up to behind me. What these are, I'm going to move my camera a little bit, make it easier on me so I don't have to keep twitching around. Ha! Twitch! Ha! What these products are is late in the game's life, they wanted to do a reprint product because I imagine, part of the cards have gone out of print. Much in the way I said that everything really cool that is from the first set. That means that the later sets go really deep into like Silmarillion type stuff. and so there's not as many things that the average Tolkien, a novice fan would know. So they wanted a reprint product. So these are fully reprinted sets. Everything in here is a pre-constructed reprint set, but it's also full of rares. Like, they have different borders, and I assume it's probably like in Magic the Gathering when the tournament decks came out, or Pokemon does this too, where they're not tournament legal. So I imagine these are probably that way, but they are fully constructed decks that play correctly with the rares you need to make the deck work and have fun. And here they are. They are five of each faction. So essentially there's different factions in the game. First, the game started with just the 5 wizards: Gandalf, Saruman, Radagast, Alatar, and Polando. And then later there was a set that was all about playing as the bad guys, playing as the Ring Wraiths, the Nazgul. And so there's 5 different Nazguls. I think in the game you could play as all 9. But this is just 5 of those key ones. Each of the decks is different. They each have different themes, different goals, different strategies. And I figured I would open some up and show you around. I opened one already, and then I figure I'll let you tell me what you want to look at. I've got my animals are jerks. I'm just gonna grab this work bottle. So when he goes wild, I've got protection. You see, my cat likes to torture the dog, and the dog just screams to make it stop. Anyway, I figured this, in the customs shipping wildness, one of the boxes was opened, I'm guessing. So I figured I'd go through this one first, and then if you there hanging out watching me in the stream have a choice of which one you want to go to next, we'll go through there next. But I figure we'll start with the Witch King. So let me move my big box, put it on the table behind me. All right, so I had some fighting with this on my last stream, getting the focus correct, but I think I got it figured out this time. So let me just go over here, then I can focus manually. So there's a little bit of glare. I don't know if I can fix that. Oh, I can actually do my advanced settings. Maybe that'll work. Change my exposure. Oh, but why'd you? There we go. Oh, the 2 things control different stuff. That's weird. Okay. Anyway. So let me get this focused in right. All right. I'll come in close and we can talk about it. So we'll start on the front of the box. Ring Wraith Challenge Deck. I think one of the things I like most about this game is just how I really like the look of just the design aesthetic. Like, if you were a huge Tolkien fan, and of course this is like 90 came out in 95. I think these are from 98. We'll say on the box somewhere when we get around to it. But if you were a huge Tolkien fan, maybe the concept of the lidless eye, the Eye of Sauron, is something that would persist and that you'd recognize just by looking at it. But if you just look at the box, it doesn't say Tolkien. It doesn't say Middle-Earth. It doesn't say anything like that. It just is this freaking super cool logo, super cool imagery, and that's all you got. And there's something neat about that. There's something really cool about just saying, this is the aesthetic we're going for, this is what we're going to do, and I don't really care if it's not the most marketable, easy to read kind of thing. Obviously, that probably didn't help it in sales, but it lasted several years for being so early on, and whereas in those first couple years, card games died really quick. They didn't get more than 1 set or 2. This was around for several years, so I think it did well. Of course, it does say Middle-Earth on the top. Has that logo up there as well. We have all of our fun copyright text. I always like reading these on these old games, just because I like the idea that it was trying to... Oh, man. Was this cut too? Sorry. This was... my box was really destroyed when I got it. And so I'm noticing little problems with it as it goes along. No, maybe they're all like this. This one's not. I am unhappy. Anyway. But I like to see these little trinket texts. It's not trinket, but like sales text to try to get you like eager to the game. If you've never heard of it and you found this box like on a shelf somewhere and no one's there to tell you about it, and it doesn't have a logo on the front, so you start reading the sides of the box to find out what it is. I think it's pretty cool. So, Middle-Earth challenge decks are usable with all other Middle-Earth collectible card game products. Meet the challenge. Sit down with a challenge deck and a pair of dice, and you're ready to compete with anyone. Everyone who put all the different copyright text. So this was a 1998. I think this was the next to last products they made. After this, they made a big box set called the Balrog, which were 2 big boxes. And I think that's it after that. I think that'll be the end. That's the end of the Middle-Earth CCG. Of note, it is made in Belgium by Cartamundi, which is the original printer of Magic the Gathering. So it does have a good card stock. I was playing with Star Quest the other day, which was made in America, and it just felt damp. Like, it just felt gross. Like, it was made of cardboard almost. All the boxes felt bad. The cards felt bad. It was not fun. All right, let's keep moving. I like looking at the sides. What's this one say? Oh, so this is 1 of 5 pre-constructed Ring Wraith decks. There is the Spies and Traders deck with Adunafel. Yes, all the Ring Wraiths had names. The names they had when they were the Kings of Men. Spies and Traders, Marauding Brood of Uglies, Dwar. Not Gwar, Dwar. Stealthy Tribe, Hoamara. Morgul Rallying Cry, the Witch King, which is the deck we'll be opening first. And Seducing Nations of Men by Indu. So let's open her up and see what we got. This was opened. This would be separated into 2 different 55 card stacks once you get inside. So I'll kind of recreate where it was when I pulled it out. Cards. Before we get into the cards, let's go through the little manual we got here. So, if you're familiar with 90s card games, you're familiar with these tiny little booklets. They are super important when you're playing a game because the internet wasn't there to give you all the rules. I mean, the internet existed, but it was like Usenet and stuff. And you needed something to teach you how to play the game in the box. You couldn't just, have a CD-ROM or whatever to teach people. You had to actually do it. So this is a super tight version of the rules summary. The one for... Let me see, do I have a regular one around me? Okay, so the other one that came with the basic game, like the Wizard starter set, was like 3 times the size, it feels like. What's this, 26 pages? I think the other one's like 75 pages. Yeah, 3 times or so. So this has like the very quick rundown of how the game works. Contains everything you need except for a pair of dice. Luckily, if I were to play, I do have my Eye of Sauron dice. They came in that size and then a slightly less chunky size as well. Alright. Has a lot of information in here, so let's go through. I'm going to keep moving through. The one thing that I want to go through is I don't need to go through the rules of the game, but I would like to show you one thing that I think is a couple things that are really neat inside this book. It does show you, it does have some full color sections at the back or the middle to give you like what all everything that the card is supposed to do, everything that's supposed to happen. It gives you breakdowns of the cards. It gives you a map. So in this game, are those numbers represented somewhere? Is there a key? There is a key. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can zoom in even further. I've got my manual focus rolling, so I think I can do it. I think this time it's going to work. Okay, so this is a map of Middle-Earth. If you're not familiar with Middle-Earth, so the Shire's up in this direction over here. This is kind of where Rivendell is. This is Mordor's down here. This is Ithilien. This is like Rohan's here. The Gap Isengard is here. Gap of Isen. This is kind of the path they took to destroy the ring. Just down through here. In this game, you can move along the map to travel from place to place, in addition to your sight cards. So having a map and being able to follow where you were at any given time was pretty important. So I've got some simple set my focus back. All right. Hey, focus is my friend today. Yay. The other thing that's really nice about this, so these decks are kind of like tournament-ready decks. They have strategies that even involve the very special sideboard rules for this game. In this game, you would have like a 20-card sideboard deck, and your wizard could actually put those cards into your main deck in the middle of a game. So sometimes the strategy is you play through your regular deck, and then you cram your sideboard cards in when you need it, or you use them against certain players. And so this book even gives you play tips for each of the different strategy decks. So not only do you get strategy for the deck that you're having, so I've got the Morgul Rallying Cry. It tells you what your starting company should be. It tells you all the sites that you're using in the deck. It tells you what your strategies are for both of your ally side and your minion side. It even tells you when to use your sideboard and how to use it. It's pretty neat. And yeah, it's just very useful. Even like the Magic the Gathering tournament decks didn't have like how to play it. Didn't tell you what to do with it, you know. Oh no, I'm getting a little glitchy. Why are we so glitchy, camera? I don't like that. Every time I move, it like can't keep up. Alright, I think we can go back out a little bit. We'll look at the cards. Okay, make sure that my focus is good. I think I got this one camera. I need to get like a ring light or something. Is this gonna be too dark? Nope, I don't think so. Bye, Ranma. Now I'm like real moodily lit, but yeah, I think we can get this focused in nice. Without the glare, it'll probably be a little. Close other tabs. Oh no, my music. Like, was I trying too hard? Is there too much happening? Okay, I'm upset, YouTube. I set a playlist, and then I put loop on the playlist, and then it just stopped playing the playlist. Why? Why would you do that? I picked the playlist because this playlist is all no copyright music. Why would you do that to me, YouTube? And so that way I get copyright strikes. I'm crediting this guy in all my channels. Why are you playing me like that, YouTube? I don't understand. We'll see. Anyway, so let me try to close some of these windows, except for the music, and see if that helps with the glitchiness. Nah, it's still happening. We'll see. Maybe I'll just try to move less. All right. Blasting fire. Focus is weird again. Is it just because now it's not bright enough? Yeah. Alright. Playable at a tapped Shadow Hold, Dark Hold, or a site with a Dwarf automatic attack. Discard to cancel all automatic attacks at a site against the bearer's company. Any influence attempts against factions at a site are modified by +2. That's kind of fun. Okay, get some dark dwarves to help you out. Great bats. Freaking love bats. The other neat thing about this game is that the art is gorgeous. And I think that they didn't just pick cards that were good in the decks or cards that were popular. I do think that they found some cards that were genuinely pretty as you're going through. You'll see that a lot more when we get to like the minion site cards. They have some of the best art in the game. So the other thing you notice, like right away, like that's 3 copies of 2 different cards. So like the decks are stacked to play consistently and play well, and they play and their matches play against each other. This is what I'm talking about, how like later in it gets real specific, like the Nerniags. They are strong, war-hardened, and asked for no quarter. They are playable at the Nerniag camp. I consider myself a pretty deep Lord of the Rings fan. I assume these guys are Southrons or Easterlings, but I can't tell you just from this. The fact that they're in the LOTR 5, which would be the first book of Return of the King, leads me to assume that they are Easterlings or Southrons. They're Easterlings because the Southrons, I think you saw in Osgiliath in Two Towers, not here. That's what I got for that. Why are you glitching? Hold on, let me try to unplug that camera real fast. Alright, let me see if I can reboot these guys now. Alright, there's that. Let's get the tabletop back up. Alright. But now I'm going to guess that I'm not going to be able to focus this anymore. Oh, yeah, I am. Okay. There we go. All right. So hopefully I'm less glitchy, and we can make this work a little bit more. Okay. Orcs on the mountains, more factions. I like that it's all these different types of orcs, too, which is fun. Ooh, a palantir. Very cool. That ain't no secret. Hold on, what's the flavor text on this? But he heard the gaffer's answers, which were rather shrill. Must be about Shire. Is that how's my ring rate voice? Is it okay? 3 copies of that. The Urukai. Yeah. Vile fumes. Look at these. Look at them. Those are some vile fumes. It looks like... Did it come out of a trumpet? What is even happening on this card? Is it a helmet? Maybe it's a helmet. I like to pretend that it's a trumpet, though. I think it's more silly. Weigh all things to a nicety. But was no orc chieftain or brigand that led the assault upon Gondor. For it was the Witch King of Angmar. So this is another thing that is really cool. While the Witch King's art, like, let me get that key art from the first one. This shows him in the helmet, like the fighter phase. This art definitely is showing off the image of what the Witch King looked like in the book, which is different from the films. The films opted for that big spooky helmet the whole time, but the Witch King in the book was notable for having, when he took off his hood, there just being a floating crown and eyes just floating there with nothing holding it up. And I do love anytime you see old like 80s and 90s Lord of the Rings art. I'm sure there's older art too, but I feel like you see it the most really in the like 70s, 80s. The Hildebrand brothers have a great piece of Eowyn fighting the Witch King where that's visible. And modern art does not do that just because Tolkien, I guess, what's his face? Old there, you know, the director, Peter Jackson. He kind of remade how we see the Witch King, and so we're seeing him with big helmets and not the cool crown anymore. And that's something that I think actually I do am upset about because the crown is one of my favorite visuals. Awaiting the call. More animals fighting. Ooh, a fell rider. So this is a fell beast I can put onto my Nazgul, which is cool. Gifts, records, under his blow, voices of malice. All right, and then you also get 30 cards that make up the hazard side of your deck. I'll go through these real fast because I really want to get to the art of the sites. That's my favorite. Bushers, Ghost. Like, look at that art. It's some early 90s Rebecca Gay art. I enjoy her art most of the time anyway, but just that wispy fantasy look of it. It's all, you know when you look at these art, it's all painted. Like, there was digital art at this time, but it's not the same as what we have now. It's not completely made it digitally. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's just a different vibe, you know, just a different texture to what's going on. Like this, Quentin Hoover, one of my favorite artists in all card games. You see him in Warlord, Magic, here. Just beautiful colors, beautiful pencil, like line work. Absolutely great. Some of these more moody, spooky human cards. This is like dark, grim. Like, I just love, like, the bad guy deck feels like a bad guy deck. All the cards are dark, all the cards are grim, and it's very, very cool. Doors of Night. One of the nice things about these decks, too. So I said I earlier. I think I saw the Witch King. So the Witch King's deck, the Witch King has an eye there to let you know that he's the leader of the eye deck, right? But let's say you drop all your cards and they spill everywhere, or you want to use these really good cards and all these rares to build your own custom decks, but later on you want to rebuild the challenge decks. All the cards are listed with which deck they came from, so it's really easy to rebuild the challenge deck if you messed it up or just did something different to it. Then we don't have to worry about going and finding a card list or anything. So now, we'll move on to the site cards. I think that in the base game, the Wizards, especially the hero sites, the site cards are fine. They're usually very pretty, but I think they knocked it out of the park with the minion side. So I'm going to zoom down just so we can just really focus on the art, because we're not going through like gameplay mechanics. We're just talking about the cool cards. So I'm just gonna zoom in so we can get the art a little bit better. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Ah, Barad-dûr, the castle of Sauron. The tower, castle, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Just like, it's so beautiful, the art on all of these towers, all of these, the dead marshes. Look, you got Frodo and Sam in this little tiny, like, you okay, buddy? Oh my god. A little Gollum with a little creepy hand in the air. Okay, I'm gonna keep this, but just make it so that way my hand's not banging it over and over again, so it's not getting all so wiggly. Dol Guldur. Minas Morgul. One of the fun things about playing the bad guys in this game is, in the normal game, the wizards go to the elf sites, the havens, like Rivendell and Lothlorien. But if you're playing the Nazgul, you gotta go to scary places like Minas Morgul. Hold on. Oh my gosh.
What's happening?
The cat has a lizard. That's what's happening.
Oh, God.
Hold on.
Jesus Christ.
Okay! We're back! Oh, hey! Sorry for that weird delay, everybody. I guess everybody being the one person who's watching, who I do appreciate you watching. Thank you. Please subscribe if you are still here. Yeah, my cat caught a lizard and was chasing it around, so the dog was freaking out about it. So then it was chaos. I'm gonna let the dog out to make it easier to deal with the cat and the lizard, and another lizard came in the house. So awesome. Florida's great. Anyway. Minas Tirith. What? See what I mean? Just like, the art's so good. I love it. I love it so much. Moria. Wait, was this? Is that Liz Danforth? Yeah, it is. Oof. If you're a classic Magic player, you'll like the games like this just because it has an old vibe. The art looks so good. Mount Doom. So spooky. Shelob's Lair. Kenneth Golgor. Oh, there's that Nerniag camp we were talking about. Now here's the other thing that these decks have. They do have a 20 card sideboard, which is not designed necessarily to like switch out Magic to just go from game to game. Sometimes it's to bolster your strategy after the game starts. But the real thing that you see in this too is these. Let me find it. Where'd they go? These dragons. A lot of times the dragons are only useful in certain sections of the map, so you wouldn't bring them in unless your opponent was starting to play in that section of the map. You bring these big scary dragons in. All right, let me zoom back out. Whoop. We'll reset the focus. Yeah, so that's what the basic of the challenge decks looks like. I'm going to open up one of the hero, one of the wizard ones, just so you guys can see that as well, because I think you guys will want to see that. So I'll put the Nazgul, the Witch King back up. Hey, one viewer that's hanging out with me. Do you chat? Do you talk in a message? Do you type into Twitch, or are you just listening to me in the background? If you're listening to me in the background, that's cool. I don't mind. But if you can chat, is there something you'd like to see? Is there a different deck you'd like me to open up first? Like, I'd like to do a wizards deck. So like Saruman's here, but like Gandalf, Radagast, Palando, Alatar, those are the 4 to choose from if you have a choice. It's cool if you don't. I can just move on. All right, well, then I'll just go ahead and open this up. I think we're going to stay zoomed out for the rest of this, just to make it a little easier, so we'll go quick. We're already been going for about 45 minutes, so I think I'd rather get this one open, show you what's inside, and call it a night. And then we'll see if what we like the next time, okay? Radagast! Yeah, see, that's what I want. I want you to shut... Yeah, that's where we go. Okay. Radagast. He's a cool dude, my friend. Boom. You ask, I will obey. This being. That being said, I am getting the little glare, like the glitch on my face. Last time the glitch was on the cards, and I think the cards are probably ultimately more important for something like this. And I can figure out why I'm glitching so bad. I wonder if it's Streamlabs. I never used to get this problem when I was cooking streaming and I had 2 different cameras. It's only been happening past a little bit. So I ordered these from Guy here, who is shipping from somewhere in Europe. Actually, I'm not certain exactly where Gwyhere is coming from. It's gwyhere.net. He's one of the bigger sellers floating around on the internet. And he has a lot of product of Middle-Earth. The biggest problem getting in the United States is just the amount of cost it is to ship it here. It is not cheap, especially right now. The price has gone up for shipping, the timeline it takes up for shipping, and then if you're like me, one of your boxes shows up ripped up. Question mark. What caused that? But yeah, so it is what it is. You know what? Hold on. Maybe this is maybe. Maybe I'm just being too fancy with my face cam. Oh, now my face cam's just gone. Oh, face cam, come back. Maybe that'll be better. I lowered the color range, so maybe I won't glitch out so much. Oh, Gwahir has so much sealed. Like, if you wanted this game, oh wait, now is my tabletop. Gwahir has a ton of stuff, man. Get weird camera issues. Sorry. He has full sets. His display box is still sealed. He can get wizard starters, unlimited wizard starters, boosters, dragon boosters, Lidless Eye starters. The booster box for Lidless Eye is very expensive. It's $250. He has more of the challenge decks. He has a bunch of stuff in other languages as well. He has sealed backs if you're just looking for just boosters. You can buy just the challenge decks individually. But what's really going to hurt you is the shipping. Shipping was like $60 or $70. So I bought quite a bit when I ordered to make it worthwhile, depending on how much you buy, how much you order. Change the frames per second. Maybe that'll help a little bit. All right, so Radagast. Let's see what Radagast's strategy is. I can probably figure it out by looking through the cards, so we'll see what we got. Also, we have another viewer who showed up, so hi, second viewer. Thanks for coming and joining me. Maybe that's you, Turkey Gabagool. The Turkey Gabagool. That's good. Alright, like I said, it comes in these each one of these is two. Oh, of course I say there's two people, and then one of them runs away. I'm sorry I brought attention to you. I just wanted a friend. Don't worry. I've got Turkey Gabagool to keep me company. That also sounds like I'm talking to... I feel like I'm talking to a sandwich. That's what like is in my brain with that username. I hope that's not offensive to you. But it just makes what I think of. Alright, so we'll go back down to check out the art. Cards of things that we really like. And of course, once we get in there, I will refocus the cards. Yeah, there we go. Radagast. Yeah, Radagast looks dope. Let me see if I can pull up. So, there was another version of Radagast that was used for the Fallen Wizard version of him, and it's by Quentin Hoover. And so if Radagast is like the wizard you've got a soft spot for, hold on a second. His art is killer. It's better. Like, this is fine. He just looks like brown Santa Claus, you know? Which is just like generic. But there's something about Quentin Hoover. Granted, he's one of my favorite artists, but it is what it is. So let me see. Actually, I haven't gone to Carddom yet. I want to. I just haven't gotten to it. It seems kind of intimidating, but I would like to at some point. I've pretty much been playing by myself using solo rules, and I've also been playing using my Arta deck, which is what I built, to play with my buddy in person. But yeah, hold up. Let me pull up and get you this Radagast art, because it is Radagast. No, not that. Go away. Add image, add source, new source, and I want Radagast because he is rad. Yeah, check out how cool this art is. Like, that is just awesome. That giant, like, elk he's riding on, the wolf. Man, I want that art on the regular Radagast. This is for the Fallen version if you want to play a whole different, like, game type. But yeah, he's cool. Anyway, so we'll click through Radagast. You always get a couple copies so we can sort through. So Radagast being his nature-loving self, he's got Beorn, the bear man, to hang out with. Ooh, Gimli and Legolas. And Halbarad. What a cool way to start the game, you know? We got Legolas and Gimli in a party together. And we're gonna give Legolas the black arrow. Dope. Graham. So this deck also comes with Hellborn. So it's got like an elf strategy going on here. Kama, Brand, a bunch of other characters. Thranduil. Now let's see what friends we're gonna make. Bjornings. Oh hey, the Rad Aghast. I dig that. That's a cool username because it's, you know, it is what it is, but such good breaking that apart. I need to sign up. I mean, most likely Chan Sterling isn't taken on there, so that'll be me when I sign up for it. It's a website, right? It's not like an app, right? Let me see. Card. No. I'm on the Discord, so I'm pretty sure if I just chill around in the Discord, it'll, you know, teach me how to do it. But oh yeah, it is just there in the browser. Yeah, maybe I'll put a deck together and see what we can do. Oh, the Easterlings, some dwarves, men of Dorwinian, some hounds, a noble steed. It's pretty art. Gotta have good swords like Orc Wrist. It's awesome. The Torque of Hughes. Some things in here are some obscure stuff, like Torque of Hughes. And if he moved, they shimmered and changed hue so that the eye was bewildered. Lord of the Rings 2, but like, so who wore those? I'm guessing Celeborn, based on the context clues. But like, interesting. More elves. Yeah, this is definitely an elf-centric deck. You're gonna be going into some mountains and forests to get there. Flatter a foe. Just look at Smog just chilling back there, being so fancy. So you said you're trying to figure it out. Are you trying to figure out the game entirely, or just trying to figure out card gnome? Because I know that the game can be a little intimidating. It is not the easiest game to pick up. It's not the hardest. Like, I think that it's tricky because it's not difficult. Like, the concepts aren't difficult. There's just a lot of concepts to get down, and that can be tricky. But everything works. Everything just works like it's supposed to. You know, there's nothing too crazy about that. Reset this back. Radagast back on top. Now let's see how many villain cards we got. Hazard cards, I guess is the correct term. The Abductors. The Ambushers. Assassin. How many assassins are there? Just one. This card's, well, it's because it's unique, I think. No. But yeah, this is one of the nastier cards in the game. It's one of the more expensive just singles that are floating around out there. That's not like from a rare set. Just because he attacks multiple times and is, you get to pick it. He's just real nasty. Just a cool card. The Corsairs of Umbar. That's fun. I feel like this is something I kind of clung on to in the books when I read them in like I guess middle school, maybe freshman year. Like things like the other evil men that just were out there in the world doing what they wanted to do. And I just thought that like the Corsairs of Umbar is just such a baller sounding name. I just always thought they were cool. More ghosts. Another Radagast. Get out. Go over here. Don't need you. Lawless Men. That's fun. Sell swords between charters. So just dudes who just need a job. Alright. That's fair. Stout Men of Gondor. These are kind of cool because these are like if you were playing against like a villain, like bad guy stuff like orcs, the Men of Gondor of course are the enemies against you. But like even Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas were stopped by the Riders of Rohan, and that they had to talk to them and they got detained. So these cards will like detain hero companies as well. So it's pretty cool. So it definitely looks like this is like a man strategy. Is that what it says? Bargain between friends. But definitely seems like this is like an evil men's strategy, which is cool. Twilight. Then Brigands. All right. And I'd also like to look at the sites again as well. Ah, yeah. I got to play this at Gen Con a few years ago. It was really my first experience with it. I'd bought in cards as a kid. I was never able to figure the game out. But I got to play. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to play, and then I played an Arda game at Gen Con. Fun fact, my first game, I was teaching other people how to play because the person was like, hey, okay, how many people have played the game before? And I was like, well, I've watched like 2 hours of videos on how to play the game. I've never played before. He goes, well, you're the most experienced. You're going to help out. I was like, cool. Oh, there's a pretty healthy little community of this. The Facebook group's nice. There's a Discord. I don't know if you use Discord, but it's there too. There's people in there. But every time I've posted anything, every time I talked about it, this is people have been responding. And when I post to YouTube, this is the Middle-Earth card videos have been my most popular. I've talked about some other more obscure games, and I get it, whatever. But like, this game has been getting a boost recently, which is pretty cool. Some fun art. Dale. I always thought this art was weird. Just this like weird naked golem creeping around through the bushes like the dead marshes. It's weird. Easterling camp. This is a good, like, there's some good like contrast in the art here because it's so like all the site cards are so like ivory or like limestone. Such good reds and blues and oranges there. It's very pretty. These are the havens. The dwarves go. Lorien, Moria, Scrivendell, Thranduil's Halls. Now we get to the sideboard. So what cards does this think that I need later? Alright, so it looks like more copies. Oop, we got another wizard. In case Radagast gets killed, we can bring Gandalf in. Oh, Gates of Morning, in case we have to play against Doors and Night deck. Okay, just some more items, it looks like, to keep the game going. Just some more kick dudes. Okay, it doesn't look like there's too much, like... Maybe I'm just not getting it, but some specific strategies. Again, more of some villain cards to really focus against your opponents where they're going to the right place. Alright, another copy of Radagast. I'll get back in there. Alright. Put this back there. Let me zoom back out. And we'll fix the zoom as well. Alrighty, and we'll put this back away. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's just so good. And there's so much of it too. Like, I was actually trying to track down some of this art for this game to make graphics and stuff with for the different videos I was doing, right? And some of it's gone. I mean, like, there's a chance that some of it was never digitized because it's so old. So there were no high def scans of it. And, you know, the artists, some of them are dead. Like they're not around anymore. Quentin Hoover, one of my favorites. He passed several years ago, and so, you know, there may not be anybody out there actively keeping stock of his art and digitizing it all, or maybe it was purchased. You know, these originals, they weren't super popular of a game. Maybe they're destroyed, purchased. It's just in some collectors' art, you know, attic right now. So there's not a really good art version of it. So all you've got are scans and cards that are shrunken down. And so it's kind of sad when you think about how much of that good art is just maybe gone. And all we've got left are, you know, we've got thousands of copies of these cards, but it's not the same. We just need to think about. But yeah. All right. Well, that puts me at about an hour of the stream, even though 3 to 5 minutes of it was my cat eating a lizard and getting chased around by the dog. But yeah, that's what the challenge decks were like. I don't think I need to open up all of them. That would take me a long time, and I think I'd rather just maybe open up some ones if I was going to play with them and talk about them, or do like a deck focus if someone was interested. But at this point, that's what the challenge decks look like. That's what the boxes were like. That's what they look like on the inside, what you get in each package. So if you're interested in them, I think they're a great buy. They're a little expensive if you're getting them shipped to the States. If you're in Europe, it's pretty reasonable. I highly recommend them. If you're in the States, you have a bunch of friends going in together to split the costs. You can keep that shipping cost down and make it reasonable, and that's not bad. Otherwise, you can just buy single lots on eBay. That's what I did when I first got in. Just bought random lots, and I got pretty lucky and was able to make a bunch of decks from that. But it was nice to have these challenge decks just because it fills in some gaps in my card pool. Like, I don't have any cards to play Nazgul until now, so now I can play the Ring Wraiths, which is really neat. So I do recommend those, but just the Wizards deck, the Wizards set is pretty cheap. It comes in a blue bordered like unlimited set. Unlimited is what they call it, and I highly recommend it. Like unlike other games I was talking about earlier, it has everything in it. If you like everything pretty much that you think of when you just think Lord of the Rings, it's there. You want to play Riders of Rohan, you got it. You want to play Aragorn, you got it. You want to play the Hobbits, you got it. You want to play elves, even obscure elves. You want Elrond, Galadriel, Arwen, Círdain. That's his name, right? Yeah, Círdain, the boatswain who takes them to the Grey Havens. Like, it has everything. So if you just got boxes of that, you can build a lot of decks. You could build an Arda, which is a board game version of the game where you kind of draft out of a shared deck, which is really, really awesome. Probably my favorite way to play. And you can get a lot done with like a box of that, or just a lot. There's a stack of cards from that. The starters are very playable. They're going to be wild and kind of do crazy stuff, but they are going to be playable, which is nice. They have like a pre-seeded 20 cards in it that are going to make your deck actually be able to run. But yeah, it's a great game. I appreciate you guys checking out and watching this video. If you're watching on Twitch, please make sure you follow. It does a lot to help me out get those numbers up. If you're watching this on the rebroadcast on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe. It's really important down below. I try to stream every Wednesday night, and I try to put clips and videos up on Thursdays and Fridays. So if you're interested, make sure you check me out there. You can also follow me up over there on Twitter. I talk a lot about card games. I talk a lot about D&D as well, RPGs in general. And if you are into miniature painting, you can follow me on Instagram, also at Chan Sterling. You'll see a lot of my miniature paints there, and a lot of the food that I cook and eat, because it is what it is. And yeah, let me know what you want to see, and I'll make it happen. Next week, I am probably going to try to do a play-by-play of how to play Arcadia, The Wild Hunt, because it's an obscure game that I did some unboxing of last week, and it seems really, really cool, and I just don't think there's another video of it out that really shows you how the game plays cleanly. So I'm going to try to put that together for us for next week. And until then, my name's Chan Sterling, and I appreciate you being here. I'll see you around.